Now, I want to make a distinction, if I'm understanding you right here, between the objectives for the company. I know that I need to meet certain sales targets. I need to achieve a certain profit margin. But here you're talking about personal objectives. How does that relate to the business that I'm trying to run and create? Now,
if you don't identify your personal objectives first, what happens is the professional objectives get in the way. So the business objectives become the priority rather than personal. And what is this whole course about? Your business and your life. So
now I want to make it
in touch with the life piece again. So create your annual goals, if you will, around personally what you want to do first, then professionally. And what will reveal itself is there's very little time left to do anything.
Exactly. And that's what's scary about this. So how do we solve that?
Well, you solve it by, first of all, what we just talked about, that you actually get to see it, that you just got to write it down, look at it, and say, this is scary. How am I possibly going to meet my personal and professional goals because I've just used up 26 hours and there's only 24 in the day? But now, if you don't see it, you'll never be able to go to work on it.
All right. So I've taken the bull by the horns and I've identified my personal goals.
All right.
And then I'm looking also at all the demands of the business.
Right.
How do I put these two together?
So what do you think you're going to be forced to do, John? You're going to be forced to give up something, aren't you?
Obviously, there's not enough hours in the day for all these objectives.
Right. So if you're going to work on the objectives that really matter to you, then your life is going to start to look better, both at work and at home. And now you begin to get back to this balance that we talked about in the first code.
But isn't the business going to suffer? Because say I've got a personal objective to get fit and I keep on postponing it because I don't have time to go to the gym. I got to get to the office. I got to fix stuff.
Right.
Now, if I rebalance the way you're describing and I start going to the gym, that's half an hour less in the office.
Right.
Isn't the business going to suffer?
How many years do you think would be added onto your life if you started going to the gym?
Maybe many. I understand that.
Good.
And I also see that the business may have to pay a price.
So what price do you think it's going to pay if you're not there?
Pretty heavy.
Right. Let's go to the next code, John.
And that's about beliefs.
The next code is to integrate your core beliefs into your leadership style. Integrate your core beliefs into your leadership style. So what does that mean to you?
What does that mean to me?
Yeah.
Well, my core beliefs would be very personal, maybe about my ethics, maybe about my religious beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure how I would ever bring that into my business leadership without imposing on other people beliefs that they may not share.
Okay. So at the real core of this, John, what we're talking about is communication and your communication skills and your ability to speak as well as listen, and how you would use your values and beliefs to generate trust in people. Because if we don't have trust, we don't have communication. We might be talking, but we're not really communicating. You and I are really communicating today. I'm really listening to what you're asking me, and you're really listening to what I'm telling you, and then we're taking the next step and the next step. That doesn't go on very much in the workplace, because people actually aren't listening. They don't start with a blank slate. They start with the fact that they're just listening so that they can respond. But if you start with a blank slate, a place of not knowing, remember we talked earlier about not knowing what we wanted to learn what we don't know. So start from a place of not knowing. So if you were to actually seek to understand, then to be understood, you'd have a very different form of communication. Most people listen merely with the intent to reply, and the result of that is really no communication. It's only about talk, and that comes then into separation.
That makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm wondering how it connects to the concept of core beliefs.
Perfect. Because we respond, John, based on our beliefs. It's already in our DNA. Our brain is already wired based on our beliefs as to how we're going to respond. So I have to be listening to you today almost with a blank slate. If I absolutely knew what my answer was going to be, then we wouldn't have to be doing this. It'd be very rote. It would be very routine. So this is very spontaneous. I have an idea in my mind because of the work I do, of what I might say, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to say until I listen to you.